Planned Parenthood has begun offering hormone therapy to those who identify as transgender. It is a new business model that makes financial sense, potentially for years to come.
You are accepting all the risk and you say, I'm transgender, I want these hormones, and they will give them to you.
Attorney Mary Hassan is watching the growing number of young people, especially girls, who see themselves either as transgender or simply gender nonconforming, filling Planned Parenthood waiting rooms.
They seek hormones to modify their bodies, not to the extent that someone who identifies as transgender might, but just, for example, for a girl to have less fat, to have more musculature, to look a little bit more masculine.
The giant abortion provider's annual report shows its expanding business venture. 200 centers in 31 states now welcome these young people, and the Family Research Council says Planned Parenthood has become the second largest provider of hormone therapy to those wanting to change. It is labeled gender-affirming therapy, which means no questions asked and no need for mental health support.
Instead of their underlying wounds being addressed and someone sorting out why it is that it feels so terrible to be a woman and that they hate their bodies and instead of asking what's going on, they're simply medicating that and creating new customers for life in ways that are deeply damaging to these women's bodies.
And Gordon, some centers are even targeting teens 16 and under, setting up a business relationship that can last for a lifetime potentially and permanently alter adolescent bodies. Gordon.
Well, Heather, will Planned Parenthood be able to offer these transgender services? I mean, you're saying that under age 16, so to underage girls without their parents' knowledge and consent.
Right. Well, we've discovered, some of these affiliates that are doing it. They appear to be outliers at this point in time. But Mary Hassan is telling me that there is a movement in medicine and policy towards having minors be able to consent on their own, potentially without their parents' knowledge. So that is the trend right now.
Well, pediatric medicine is also moving rapidly into this gender-affirming care. What happens when a child says that they want transgender treatment and their parents disagree?
Right. Well, and it is important to note that some children truly struggle with gender dysphoria. That is an incredibly painful issue, and so parents really need to work with them. For other children, it could be a mental health issue that perhaps is presenting as a gender issue. And so I would really encourage parents to, if they want to seek out counseling, this can be challenging, Gordon, because some counselors are just going to jump on the bandwagon with your child. So you really want to get a referral. There is a group in Atlanta called the Institute for Sexual Wholeness. They are Christian counselors, thinkers on this issue. They would be good for a referral. You can get telehealth counseling nowadays, which is terrific. And I also want to emphasize that there is a support group for parents. It is called Parents of ROGD Kids, which stands for Rapid Onset Gender Dysphoria. And this is parents who are walking this walk. They have support groups in multiple cities across the country, and that would be another resource for parents who are walking through this journey.
Well, talk to us about these mental health issues, because from where I'm looking at it, it seems like there's an explosion of this, and all kinds of people are now volunteering for, well, I have problems with my gender and I want to change gender. How much of this, part of it is, my question is, I find it hard to believe that the biology would get it so wrong at birth. So what's driving this? Is this an exposure to the idea that is now triggering some kind of mental health thing, or is there really something biological at the root?
Right. So I can tell you that there's not a lot of research on this. We do know that the numbers are exploding in terms of transgender clinics that have been established across the country, and in terms of young people identifying as transgender. That we do know. What we don't know is why so many are coming forward right now. There have been a few studies that are exploring this idea of social contagion. So that is, and they're finding clusters clusters of young people, right, in the same classroom or the same school that are saying they have this transgender identity. So that would lead towards, indeed, some of these young people are latching onto a trend. We also know a lot of them have accompanying mental health issues that need to be addressed, Gordon.
All right. Well, we've got a viewer question. I think it's on a lot of people's minds. Roxy writes in, how can we stop this?
Well, in terms of Planned Parenthood, I think a lot of people have been trying to figure out how to approach Planned Parenthood for a long time. I would say that information is power. If you can find out what is happening in your community, what services are available in your community, what services you think are being offered that may not be a good idea in your view, then you can go to your local authorities, you can tell other parents, and you can start to raise awareness of what's really happening in your own community, let alone your own home. And this is a great time to just encourage parents to begin those early conversations with their kids and to be available and present to their kids when they come to them with any concern.
I guess last question is, how do we, strive against cancel culture? Because anything, even from medical doctors that question this and even raise a flag, are we looking at a mental health issue, or is there an underlying biology to this? You're at risk for your books getting thrown off Amazon, all of your social media accounts being canceled, everything else that would limit your speech. How can we have a free and open discussion of these underlying issues?
Well, I do want to give kudos. There are people in the medical community right now, that endocrinologists, that are indeed raising concern, raising, the fact that we don't have a lot of research on what transgender pediatric medicine looks like. But it is very difficult because professionally you can be marginalized so quickly if you do speak out against this. I will also say that we are beginning to see what they call detransitioners, that is, young people who are in their 20s who have had transgender surgery or puberty blockers or hormone therapy and are saying huge mistake, and now I'm disfigured, if you will. So I think the pendulum might begin to swing if there are more of these young people who come out and say, I was really wronged and we need to rethink this. All
right. Well, Heather, thanks for joining us. Thanks for the insight. You can always get the latest on this story and more when you download the CBN News Channel app. Hello, I'm Gordon Robertson. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more encouraging videos like this one. Welcome to the 700 Club Interactive family, and God bless you.